I pay no attention to the pushing and shoving. I pay no attention to the weight factor. What I pay attention to is the skill level that both guys show in and out of the ring. And what I'm seeing is I see a hungry Crawford, a Crawford that has been looking for the opportunity for a long time, finally getting the opportunity, and really ready to grab the opportunity. So he'll be a guy that, if he shows up and does the exact right thing, he can win the fight. If he don't do the right thing, which I don't see him doing, I don't know why he would at this point in his career. I don't know. It'll all be predicated upon how well Terence can take his punch.
Roy Jones Jr. has just dropped bombshells on the upcoming clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Álvarez. On the other hand, Lonnie B said he still favors Canelo to win the fight and nothing has changed his mind. He believes the fight might be close in the first 4 rounds, but expects Canelo to take over after that. Lonnie praised Crawford as a great fighter, but pointed out how Madrimov gave Crawford some problems. He thinks moving up from 160 to 168 pounds will be tough for Crawford, especially since Canelo is likely to come in weighing around 200 pounds on fight night. Lonnie added that Canelo has never been stopped before and does not believe Crawford will be able to keep him off.
I think you favor Canelo to win the fight.
Yeah.
Has anything changed from then? Is it now closer?
No.
Has it not changed?
Nope.
Nothing.
I think it's going to be a good fight for the first 4 rounds. I think Canelo's size just going, take over. Like I said, I could be wrong. Crawford's phenomenal. But from what I've seen with the kid Maktrinoff and the way he gave him trouble moving up 2 more weight classes, 60 to 68, and Canelo going to come in about damn near 200 pounds. I just think I just don't think Canelo's never been stopped, and I don't think he's going to be able to keep Canelo off of him.
Teofimo Lopez said that although he has been leaning toward Canelo, he now feels Crawford might surprise everyone. He explained that the odds may actually be in Crawford's favor because many fans will be tuning in mainly to see how Crawford handles moving up 2 weight classes. Teofimo mentioned Crawford's fight against Majima last year as a key moment, but also pointed out a concern. He believes Crawford's low activity level, fighting only once a year, could be a serious problem going into such a big matchup.
I've been saying Canelo, but I think Crawford might pull something,
Why?
I think that the odds are in his favor as far as that. The reason why people are going to tune in is not just because of Canelo. It's going to be mainly because of the Crawford. How is he going to do going up, 2 more weight classes, especially after the Madrimov fight that he had in, last year? I think that's the problem, though. Crawford is fighting too many. He's not fighting a lot. He's fighting once every year. That's bad.
However, Roy Jones Jr. said he does not focus on the pushing and shoving or who looks tougher, but instead on the skill each fighter shows inside and outside the ring. He sees a hungry Crawford who has waited a long time for this kind of opportunity and is now fully ready to seize it. On the other hand, he views Canelo as someone who may not be as hungry, but still loves to entertain and always aims to deliver big fights. Roy believes Canelo can win if he does everything perfectly, but doubts he will at this stage of his career. In the end, he said the outcome will depend on how well Crawford can handle Canelo's power.
I pay no attention to the pushing and shoving. I pay no attention to the weight factor. What I pay attention to is the skill level that both guys show in and out of the ring. And what I'm seeing is I see a hungry Crawford, a Crawford that has been looking for the opportunity for a long time, finally getting the opportunity, and really ready to grab the opportunity. And with Canelo, I see a guy who, not necessarily hungry, but loves to entertain, loves to give us the big fights. Always tries to give the big fights. He finds a way to give us big fights. Not gonna always win them, but he always tries to give them to us. So he'll be a guy that, if he shows up and does the exact right thing, he can win the fight. If he don't do the right thing, which I don't see him doing, I don't know why he would at this point in his career. I don't know. It'll all be predicated upon how well Terence can take his punch.
Moreover, bare-knuckle boxer Mike Perry said he is really curious to see who wins the fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford. When asked for his pick, he said he would wait until the face-off to decide, just like many others in the fight world. He admitted he leans slightly toward Crawford, but also believes Canelo might have some tricks up his sleeve. For him, seeing the face-off will help him make his final choice.
I'm really curious to see who wins that fight.
Well, wait, real quick. Who do you got, Canelo or Terence?
I'll have a guess. You know what? Just like like the rest of the people in the fight game, I'll make my pick when I see the face-off. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna tell you who right now. Actually, I think, a little bit Terence, but Canelo might know some shit. I gotta see the face-off.
UFC fighter Paddy Pimblett said he really likes Terence Crawford and would back him in a fight against Canelo. While he respects Canelo, he admitted he is not the biggest fan and would prefer to see Crawford win to shake up the boxing world. When asked how the fight might end, Paddy said he is unsure because Canelo is much bigger, so it would most likely go to a decision.
Terence, Bud, Crawford, or Canelo? Who do you got in that one?
Well, I really like Terence Crawford, so I'd back him. You know what I mean? I like Canelo, but I'm not his biggest fan. I'd rather see Crawford win and shake up the boxing world a bit.
Do you think it'd be a decision, or you think you can put him out there?
I don't know. Canelo's a lot bigger than him, so more than likely be a decision.
However, Roy Jones Jr. further explained that he does not focus on the weight difference between Canelo and Terence Crawford because when a fighter is as skilled as Crawford, weight does not matter as much. He said the only concern is whether Crawford can take a punch at the higher weight, and he believes Crawford can since he has likely sparred with super middleweights and light heavyweights before. Roy added that when a fighter has real skill, everything they do well moves up with them to the next weight class. He emphasized that it is not about size, but about how much skill each fighter brings into the ring, and that is what truly matters during the fight.
When you know how to box, when you're as skillful as Terence Crawford is, weight don't really matter much. Only thing that matters with the weight is can you take the punch, and I'm sure you've been sparring with super middles and light heavies, so I'm sure you probably can take the punch. So that's the only thing when you got skill. Now if you don't have a skill, you can't take the weight, take it up, because you're gonna lose your punch, you're gonna lose everything. When you got skill, all your stuff that you have goes up with you. You talk to the GOAT. I went out with a heavyweight.
No, it's a lot of the people, which is why I brought up, would use the weight as an advantage for Canelo. But I agree, and you're right. Canelo fights obviously taller fighters all the time and wins. It's about skill as opposed to, a lot of the time anyway, as opposed to weight.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not really worried about the weight. I'm worried about the skill level that they use.
UFC legend Alexander Volkanovski said it is incredible to see the Canelo versus Crawford fight actually happening. He admitted it will be interesting to watch, especially with Crawford moving up in weight. Volkanovski praised Canelo as a beast, but also said Crawford is so skilled that he genuinely cannot choose a winner. He repeated how much respect he has for both fighters, calling them incredible, and said he is simply excited to watch the fight and see how it all unfolds.
And that's incredible to see happening, but it would be interesting to see how Canelo and Crawford goes. Obviously moving up, man, Canelo's a beast, so it's but Crawford's so good. Man, I don't know who am I leaning towards. Man, Crawford's so good, but Canelo having the size, I don't know, man. I can't pick it. Look at me. I literally cannot pick it. I just think I just got so much respect for both of them. I think they're both incredible, and I cannot just wait to...
Robert Garcia mentioned that many fans are counting Terence Crawford out against Canelo Alvarez because of the size gap, but he does not agree with that view. He thinks Crawford has the tools like quick movement and fast hands to keep things competitive. Even though Canelo brings strength and a lot of experience, Garcia feels Crawford's sharpness and complete skill set give him a real shot. He said that while Canelo still wins his fights, he no longer pushes his limits or adds much variety. Instead, Canelo seems to do just enough to get by, and Garcia believes that could leave an opening for Crawford to take control.
It's a fight that most of the people don't give Crawford a chance because of the size, but he's got skills, man. He's got skills. He's got good speed, good footwork. That's why I do give him a chance.
You do give Crawford.
I do give Crawford a chance, of course. Canelo's last few fights, he does his work. He gets work done, but
Garcia also said Canelo now fights more like someone focused on business, not hunger. He noted that in Canelo's latest outing, he looked slower, stayed flat on his feet, and relied on single punches instead of combinations or pressure. According to Garcia, this lack of fire could work in Crawford's favor, especially if Crawford fights smart and uses his movement well. Given where both fighters are in their careers, Garcia believes Crawford has a real shot to come out on top.
But never does that little extra to please or to he knows he doesn't need to anymore, so he's just comfortable enough with just securing the win. He became a businessman, and I think that could be something in favor of Crawford, that if he comes out in his best and good footwork, you know, Canelo is flat-footed. He you know, his last fight, especially against the runner, he was throwing one punch at a time. Didn't even try to be aggressive and get him into the ropes, throw combinations of 4 or 5 punches. He never even tried that. So I think at this stage, I am giving Crawford a big chance of maybe pulling it up.
Sergio Mora admitted he used to believe that a bigger, skilled fighter would always beat a smaller one, but Canelo Alvarez's recent performances changed his mind. He pointed out that Canelo has struggled to cut off the ring and no longer looks as sharp, likely due to wear from an early start and over 65 fights. Mora noted that despite being older, Crawford looks fresher, stronger, and even more solid physically. He expects the fight to go the distance, with Crawford making it tough and leaving visible damage, but still gives Canelo a slight edge on the scorecards.
You know, for a long time I kept saying, you know, a great big man will beat a great small man. That's just how it is in boxing. But after Canelo's last performance, like many people, man, he struggled against a guy in cutting off the ring, a longer guy that wasn't trying to make it a fight. And Canelo has lost a step. Let's keep it real. I mean, he's a man with over 65 fights. He's been fighting professionally since he was 15 years old. There's wear and tear, there's injury. He can turn old overnight. And believe it or not, he's younger than Crawford. But Crawford doesn't have those miles. You know, Crawford's 37 years old. He can turn old overnight. But I still like Crawford, man. He's just a mean dude. He's been bulking up nicely, doing it the right way. He looks bigger. He looks bigger than Canelo right now as far as like height, the shoulders. I think it's going to be a decision type fight. I think Crawford's in this fight, and I don't think Canelo leaves unscathed. I think he'll leave a little bruised and beat up, but he'll still win the decision.
Antonio Tarver gave his view on a possible showdown between Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford, saying the difference in size would not be the deciding factor. He noted that Canelo is not significantly taller or bulkier than Crawford, especially compared to other fighters at super middleweight. Tarver stressed that skill, not size, would matter most in this fight. He questioned whether Canelo's recent matchups truly prepared him for someone as quick, sharp, and talented as Crawford.
No, bro, I know Crawford, and he's different. And see, the only thing different here is Canelo is not a bigger guy at that weight. He's not like he's standing 6'1", 6'2", like Bivol or one of those guys. So on fight night, the size is not going to be the main thing, the most important thing. It's going to be skills. And both of them coming with their skills. But what I haven't seen lately is the opponents that Canelo is facing. Those guys aren't going to get him ready for a guy like Crawford. So Canelo is going to have to go back to that grind and turn back the hands of times too.
Tarver also said that for Canelo to have a real shot, he needs to look like the version who beat Caleb Plant, aggressive, focused, and active. He pointed out that Canelo's performances against John Ryder and Jaime Munguia showed a slower pace, fewer combinations, and less sharpness. According to Tarver, only a sharp and relentless Canelo can push Crawford to his limits. Still, he gives Crawford a strong chance to win, even if Canelo is at his best. In Tarver's view, the fight will come down to whether Crawford can take Canelo's power. If he can, Tarver believes Crawford will come out on top.
Because if he show up like he did against Skull, he show up like he did against Benavidez, not Benavidez, but Berlanga, and the other guy. What's the other guy name? Munguia. Bro, those guys, he didn't have enough activity. The last time I saw Canelo that would beat, I think, this Crawford was Plant. Now that Canelo come cutting the ring, all throwing combination to the head and to the body, active, it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. You know what I mean? And I still think I give Crawford a chance even then. So that's what type of talent I think Crawford is. He's definitely gonna have to get used to that power. If he can take Canelo power, he gonna win the fight.
That's kind of the question of it, right?
If he can take that power, he gonna win the fight.
Jim Lampley believes Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Álvarez if he follows a smart game plan built around speed, movement, and quick bursts of offense. He explained that this strategy demands excellent stamina, but Crawford's known for his top-level conditioning. Lampley said if Crawford stays focused and keeps up that pace for the full fight, he has a real chance to win.
You get out. Get in, do damage, get out. and keep doing it over and over. It's an exhausting way to fight. You've got to have the conditioning to do it. But if Terence has the right conditioning, and he has never been under condition, he's always been in great shape. If Terence has the right condition and can get in and get out, oh heck yes, he has a chance to beat Canelo Álvarez.
Tim Tszyu was asked whether Canelo Álvarez could apply effective pressure on Terence Crawford in a possible matchup. He responded that it would depend on which version of Canelo enters the ring. Tszyu complimented Canelo, who faced Gennady Golovkin in their second meeting, calling that version the most impressive. However, he also said that the Canelo seen in more recent bouts has not looked the same. In his view, even though Crawford is 38, he still appears fresh and has avoided major punishment, which could be a key factor in this fight.
It's hard to say because it depends on the Canelo that comes out, you know, like the Canelo that fought Triple G in the second one. I thought that was probably the best Canelo that I've seen to date, but the Canelo that I've seen in recent years hasn't been the Canelo from the Triple G days, so that's what it's all about. But then again, Crawford's like 38 years old, but he's still fresh and he hasn't been hit. So that's the real question.
When asked to clarify what he meant by Canelo not appearing the same, Tszyu explained that the Mexican champion has grown too easy to read. He noted that Canelo tends to depend on a handful of powerful punches and often uses his physicality to control fights. But when facing someone like Crawford, who is known for high-level intelligence and technical ability, that approach may fall short. As for predictions, Tszyu gave Crawford a 65% chance of winning, indicating he slightly leans toward the unbeaten American.
I think he's just become predictable, you know. He's got these certain shots and he's used his brute force and physical strength to just bully everyone, you know. But right now, in front of him, it's not someone that you can use your strength against because he's very, very smart, Crawford.
If you had to put a percentage on it, 50-50, 60-40 Crawford, 70-30 Canelo,
yeah.
What do you put on it, Tim?
I'd go 65% Crawford.
Dimitri Bivol admitted he has never seen Terence Crawford face to face, so he cannot accurately judge Crawford's true size. However, he shared that from the beginning of his boxing journey, he was always taught to respect weight classes, as size has a major impact in the sport. Despite that, Bivol spoke highly of Crawford's skills and called him one of his favorite active fighters, showing clear admiration for his talent and ability in the ring.
To be honest, I didn't see, I think, Crawford in real life. I don't know how big he is. But the size, you know, when I came to boxing gym and my coach told me that one of the rules, it's like respect the weight classes, you know. You should respect weight classes. But he has a very good skill. He's one of my favorite fighters. Active fighters now.
Daniel Jacobs said he would choose Terence Crawford to win based on his skill set, which he believes is the most important factor in the fight. He acknowledged that the size difference is his main concern, pointing out that even the best prepared fighter can be affected once they get hit, referencing a famous Mike Tyson quote. Jacobs hopes Crawford can handle Canelo's power and said if Crawford can stay slick and avoid big punches, he has a strong chance to win. He also mentioned a quote from Crawford's brother Naeem about being able to swim without getting wet, saying that kind of movement could be the key to victory.
I would say Crawford wins the fight based off of the skill set. That's the first and foremost. I think the biggest worry for me when it comes to that is just the size difference. Because obviously, great Mike Tyson said, you know, you have a game plan until you actually get in there and you get hit, and then that changes the whole outskite of the fight. So I'm hoping that he's able to endure what Canelo's gonna bring. But I think he has the skill set to be able to be like eluding all of the big shots and hit, not get hit. What does brother Nassim said? He has the most famous quote, swim without getting wet. And so I believe if Crawford could be that the night of the fight. I think he'll be successful. I think it'll be a big shot, but not to the ones that know.
Jacobs made sure to express his respect for Canelo, calling him the man, but said that if you remove size and power and focus only on skill, Crawford stands out. He praised Crawford's ability to adapt, switch stances, and change his approach mid-fight. Jacobs highlighted how complete Crawford is as a fighter, saying he brings many different tools into the ring. He finished by saying that no matter what happens in the fight, win or lose, Crawford will still be his guy.
Canelo is the man. Like, take nothing away from him, right? But I mean, if you really look at skill set, not putting in the factors of weight and power, I think we kind of got to lead with Crawford, being that he's so diverse. The dynamic of what he brings to the table is very versatile. He can switch. He not just switch stance. I mean, he can switch style. He can switch aggression. He could be elusive. He could be, so he's very multifaceted when it comes to what all he brings to the table. But that's still my dog. So regardless to what, like, you know what I mean? Win, lose, or draw.
Jarrell Miller said the matchup between Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford is one of the biggest fights in the past 10 years. He admitted he used to think Canelo would be too big for Crawford, but was surprised by how strong Crawford looks now. After watching Crawford for years and knowing his wrestling background and discipline with managing weight, Miller believes this will be a tough challenge for Canelo. In the end, he thinks Crawford will come out with the win.
It's a great fight. I think it's like Turkey said, it's one of the biggest fights in the last 10 years. I'm surprised of how big Crawford is right now. Surprised. I said, I got love for both fighters. I've been around Crawford a lot more than Canelo, so I'm pushing for Crawford more. And I thought that Canelo would have been too big for Crawford. But then studying Crawford for so long over the years, come from a wrestling background. That's why he's never missed weight. He knows how to cut weight, knows how to put weight on. It's going to be a tough fight. It's not going to be an easy fight for Canelo. And I'm thinking Crawford's going to pull it off.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about Canelo versus Crawford upcoming clash? We would love to hear your thoughts on this. So share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to subscribe. And like if you enjoyed the video, also check out our other videos on the screen right now.